Hello. Alongside modern electronic access methods like cards, QR codes, fingerprints, and others, classic options with mechanical locks and the keys that open them are still in use. For example, a key might be needed for a safe or a company vehicle, or it might not be economically practical to equip a rarely used service room with an access control system. These two technologies are successfully combined using intelligent storage systems, known as electronic key cabinets, which are designed to automate the process of receiving and issuing keys. In this video, we'll detail how to set up Sigur's integration with one of these systems, the Keyguard key cabinets. Before we start, let me tell you about the device. Keys or small items are attached to key fobs with built-in chips containing unique identifiers. The mechanism of the key cabinet secures these keys in their slots, preventing their removal without system authorization. Accordingly, the chip data is used to identify the key each time. When it is necessary to take a key out of storage or return it to its place, access to the keys can be flexibly configured for different groups of employees. Each key is issued upon presentation of a personal identifier, such as a card, which can also be used to access other entry points. As a result, the integration allows you to manage keys, issue and return them to specific users, add or remove keys, and create rules for employee access to keys. It also supports complex scenarios, including additional verification, biometrics. It can automatically activate or deactivate zones when keys are issued or returned. To work with the key cabinet, you need to purchase a license based on the number of keys. The key cabinets connect to 220V power supply and via Ethernet. They have internal memory key database, access schedules, and events stored, so they can operate autonomously even if no connection server. Setup carried out in 3 stages. First, setting IP parameters device. Second, creating a list of keys and rights for issuing and returning. Third, configuring user access rules for keys. Set IP parameters. Open Settings menu on Key Cabinets panel. You can access it by opening the outer door and then the inner door, which contains the slots for the key fob tags. To open it, use the special emergency unlock key. Then press the Settings button located inside the main control unit. The Settings menu will appear on the key cabinet screen. In the IP settings section, specify the IP address, which is the address of the key cabinet itself. The server IP, which is the address of the computer where the Sigur server is installed. The subnet mask, and the default gateway according to your network settings. The server port, the TCP port number used for data exchange between the key cabinet and the server. We will keep its default value of 8.3.0. After specifying all the parameters, click Save and then reboot. After that, the changes you made will take effect. Key cabinet configuration complete. Next, move to the client program. Ensure software license contains information about available physical access keys, opening file menu and selecting module management. Click OK to continue. Go to the File menu, then Settings and select Storage Devices. Enable integration with Keyguard. Click OK to save the settings. Integration will only be available after restarting the program. Let's restart the client. Open the newly appear Keyguard tab. This is where the main work will be done. Tab Workspace, Key Cabinets, Key Lists, Holidays, Time Zones, Access Rights. Let's add a new key cabinet by clicking the plus button. After that, a window will open for specifying the parameters of the new device. It's important to clarify here that, for the Sigur server, a key cabinet, similar to the settings in the Equipment tab, is a controller with a built-in reader, and the keys inside it are essentially access points linked to the controller. So let's enter a clear name for the key cabinet and its IP address. Then click OK to continue. After adding the new device, a list of parameters will become available for it. Some of these parameters are self-explanatory, and we'll go over the rest in a bit more detail. In the reader type field, you specify the bit format of the weekend interface on the reader built into the key cabinet's control panel. In the room number cell, you can enter brief text information about the room where the key cabinet is installed. In other words, any clear room numbering system for the system operator. The status field displays the current connection status with the device. No connection. When the server fails to establish a connection at the specified IP address. Connected. The device is connected and operating normally. Loading BB. The device is connected and information is being read from the key cabinet. The database is loaded when the device is first added, as well as when the server module is restarted. And synchronization. Data related to the key cabinet has been changed in the Sigur database, and the outdated device data is being written. If you have the appropriate license for key cabinets, set up key access with facial verification. To do this, in the facial verification settings, select your video surveillance system. For more details, see this separate video. For each key cabinet added, the Settings section Associated Keys displays keys known to the key cabinet. The list of keys is automatically loaded from the key cabinet when a connection is established with it for the first time. You can also edit it manually by adding new keys and removing unnecessary ones. For this, use the plus and minus buttons. Let's go over the key settings. Select the added key cabinet from the list and go to the Associated Keys tab. Here we see a list of keys that are currently physically installed in a key cabinet. For each key, you can view and edit its parameters. Let's configure several keys. Enter clear names, for example, a description of the room or object the key is intended for. The return till and permitted delay parameters specify when a key must be returned, or the acceptable delay before its return. Later, you can generate reports and track keys not returned on time. The iButton number tab parameter displays information about the key's unique number. The security zone parameter links the key to an existing security zone. If you link the key and a security zone, when an employee takes this key, the server sends an OPS command to deactivate the zone. When the key is returned, the server sends an OPS command to activate the zone. Let's continue with a basic setup of the integration functionality. Let's go to the Key Lists tab. This tab is designed to make working with a large number of keys more convenient. For example, to group keys into so-called lists. When you create a keyed list and then assign it to an employee as available, the employee will be able to select the desired group of keys at once in the key cabinet's key issuance dialog, instead of having to select each key individually multiple times. At the same time, each key cabinet has its own separate key lists. Let's add a new list by clicking the plus button. Enter an informative name, for example, IT department. Click the OK button. The list editing area contains 3 panels. On the right side of the window are panels with available keys and the created key lists for the selected key cabinet. In the central area of the window, you'll find a list of keys and key lists that are part of the list being edited. You can move a key or a key list from the available ones to the editable list either by double-clicking the left mouse button or by clicking a special button. Let's move several keys with names that will make up our list. Click Apply to save the settings. Further settings will be very similar in logic to parameters already familiar with when configuring access modes in Sigur software. For clarity, we'll set options, showing clear analogies. Continue configuring step by step. Go to Holidays tab. This tab allows you to create special days when key access rules differ from usual. In Access Mode Settings, Days, tab, Special Days, parameter serves a similar function. Click plus button and set up a holiday, New Year's Day. From the available parameters for detection, we can specify a particular month of the year and a day within that month. Let's select December and the 31st. Click Apply to save settings. Next, go to the Time Zones tab. Here, we set access time intervals during which employees use specific keys. When configuring access modes, similar parameters are set on a Days tab by adding days and setting access time intervals on each day. So let's add a time zone by clicking the plus button. Let's enter a clear name, for example, 9 to 5 week. In the time zone settings, add days by clicking the corresponding button, just like we did when configuring the mode. In the drop-down menu on the left side of the window, select a specific day of the week for each day. And for the previously configured holiday, select the holiday option. Here, you also have the option to choose the logic for even and odd days of the week. Next to each day, specify the access time for the keys. Next, combine all configured parameters into rules. Assign to employees to define their access rights to keys. Go to the Access Rights tab. Here, specify access to keys for particular groups. This is similar to the General tab settings. It's important to note that when setting up key access rights, you need to keep in mind that each employee can only be assigned one access right. So, if you're using multiple key cabinets, you can select the desired one from the key cabinet drop-down menu. Next, let's create a new rule by clicking the plus button. Let's give it a clear name, for example, Engineer. Then, just like with key lists, we can add individual keys or entire key lists to the rule. Let's select the key list we created earlier by highlighting it and move it over. For keys moved to the central area of the window, you can select a time zone previously created. At the top of the window, you can configure additional access rules, access with facial verification when a video surveillance system is connected to the camera, and access by operator authorization. For example, let's check the box for operator authorization access. When working with a key cabinet, the display of operator authorization access on the surveillance screen differs from the usual rule in employee access modes. To display it on the surveillance feed, you need to explicitly create a key cabinet element. We cover how to work with the Surveillance View Designer in a separate video. Next, you need to grant employees access rights to the keys. You can do this on the Cardholders tab, where you need to select the desired employee and go to the Key Cabinets section. Next, click the plus button to add access to the key cabinet for the selected employee. Here, specify parameters for access to key cabinet. Reviewing detail. User ID. A unique user ID that allows the user to identify themselves on the device if they don't have or can't present a card. Key access rules specifies the rule for accessing the keys of a particular key cabinet, which was created in advance on the Keyguard tab. PIN, a password for the user, which they can use to identify themselves on the device when entering their ID. Let's enter the ID. Select the previously created access rule and set a PIN code for manual access to the key cabinet. This completes the basic setup of the Keyguard key cabinet. Let's test how the functionality works. First, let's try to take a key using an employee card. We hold the card up to the key cabinet's reader. The screen displays a prompt to select specific keys or a list of keys that we want to take. We select the key and press the Issue button. The key cabinet notifies us that we are waiting for operator authorization to access the keys. The system operator sees an access request for the selected employee's keys on the Monitoring tab. To grant access, the operator holds their card to the desktop reader. This is the ACR 1252. After that, key cabinet unlocks, employee takes required key, and device screen displays information about keys not taken. Let's try to return key. Hold employee's card to reader and press return button on device screen. The key cabinet unlocks the door, and the employee can place the key in any available slot. The key cabinet reads the identifier of the fob and will display information about the return keys on the screen. Now let's look at how the keys interact with the security zones added to the system. I've already added a security zone from the E2 controller in the software, and displayed it on the map. We covered the setup of security alarms on Sigur controllers and working with floor plans in separate videos. Now let's link this zone to one of the keys. To do this, we'll go back to the Keyguard tab, select the key cabinet, and go to the Associated Keys section. Here, select Key and Security Zones parameter. Use button to choose zone created in software. Click OK and Apply to save the settings. So let's open the monitoring view with the system events, key cabinet, and map displayed. Let's present the card to the key cabinet reader. Select the required keys from the list provided and click the Issue button. The key cabinet once again notifies us that it is waiting for operator authorization. Grant access by presenting the operator's card to the desktop reader. Take the key associated with the security zone. The event list displays information that the security zone linked to this key has been deactivated. Also, on the map, the color of the element for this zone has changed to gray. Now let's return the key following the logic described earlier. The event list records information about the zone being armed. Color has changed to green. This concludes setup integration features between Sigur and Keyguard cabinets. Thank you for your attention. See you next time.